guys, welcome to What I've Learned This Week. A bit of a different episode this week. I'm actually going to answer a viewer's question. Rachel Ewan wrote and asked if I could maybe talk about how to recover from something devastating, and she specifically said, how do you move on and try again? Rachel, I feel like if there's anything I can speak with authority on, this is the one. To be honest, for me, it's always been kind of like, I have like this inbuilt machine in me. You put the devastating event in and I pop out a positive result. I've never particularly, I guess, had to like think about it and how to do it. I'm very lucky that from a very early age, I always made a choice. Bad event, what's the good that could come of it? So for that reason, when it came to answering your question, I actually had to really think. So I wrote down my notes about what it is that this machine inside of me actually does. So for the people that don't have that machine, maybe you can work on some things to build it and build your own machine inside of there. So let's look at some of the things that have happened to me and how I dealt with them. First big one being anorexia when I was a teenager. When I got it, it was very hard to deal with the fact that everybody wanted to treat me like I was so sick and like an alien that they didn't know how to touch and they didn't know what to do with and they didn't know what to say to. So as I started getting better, I was still seen that way. During that time, to be able to recover and to move on and to be a person separate of my anorexia, I really had to take the time to look within myself and find out who I was. When a devastating event happens to us, it gives us the opportunity to really look within and say, how am I reacting to this? What does that say about me? You know, for my anorexia, I became very, I wanted to fix everything and I wanted to make it all better and I wanted to please everybody else while I was the sick one. So I really learned very quickly that I needed to take more time to heal myself. So that was a big positive. During it, I made a very big choice to be very public about it. I wrote a play and went out and did a public awareness campaign about eating disorders and tried to use my story to help others. And out of the woodwork, these people came and wanted to share their story, and I met so many people that were waiting for someone to talk to that I learned through my anorexia and through that choice that sometimes a devastating thing can happen to you, and if you're honest about it, all of a sudden it turns positive because you've been honest to help someone else be honest, to feel better about their situation and maybe be able to delve within their life and look at them because they don't feel so alone. So that started, and I'm an actress. My gosh, every day we have a devastating event. I mean, when I say devastating, really, I've had enough devastating stuff happen to know that not getting a role isn't truly life devastating, but it sucks, it's horrible. And we basically put ourselves up for this every day. Am I good enough? No. Am I good enough? But that's the thing, that's the question we ask. Am I good enough? So through being an actress, I've learned that sometimes when something devastating happens, when you don't get what you want, it's not because you're not good enough, it's because you're just not right. And that's not your fault. You can't change that. You have to have faith that when you're right for something and when a good thing's meant to happen, it will. In the same way, when a bad thing's meant to happen, it will. But it's not bad, it's a lesson. I've really started to look at the word failure, and I don't really believe it's a negative word. I don't even like it as a word. It's really just another step towards positive. So when we have a devastating thing happen to us in the world of acting and in everything else, don't see it as I failed, I'm a bad person. See it as, wow, why is this happening so that I can move forward? Because if you look at it like you're climbing up a hill here, if you have a failure, it's just like a bigger boulder to climb over and you're even higher afterwards. Whereas if you're just getting like little good things, you're still going up here, but your big boulder, you're now up here if you choose to climb up through the failure. So that's what acting taught me, that you've actually really got to trust that this horrible big boulder in front of you is helping you get further, is teaching you to have faith, that if it's bad, maybe it's good. But you have to search for that good. You have to climb over the boulder. You have to commit to learning the lesson you're meant to learn from this horrible thing. And then we have the big one, my alopecia, which without doubt could be seen as a devastating experience. But I have to tell you, after 5 years, everyone, best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't think I'd be sitting here right now if it hadn't, to be honest. But when I first lost my hair, it was devastating because my hair was how I identified myself. Even now, I'm playing with someone else's hair on my head, acting like it's me. And I had to really learn who I am. Does my hair define me? No. Do the clothes I wear define me? No. Do the people that I'm with or whatever define me? No. The only thing that defines me is me. So I learned that from my alopecia. Now, don't get me wrong. Every single moment in the steps have been tricky with my alopecia. You know, the first time that I whipped off my wig in front of people, the first time that I told people, the first time that I went out publicly on TV. All of these things have been challenging, but I chose very early on, and this is what's really important, Rachel and everyone else out there, to choose a positive rather than negative in this. This was devastating. I'd lost my hair. What was the positive? By choosing to be honest about it, one, I got a better sense of who I was, what's great about me, and what's special about me, and I also got to help other people find that for themselves, because a lot of people weren't willing to go there because no one else was going there. But as you see that someone else is, you can go there too. So slowly but surely, I started to find people that had never told anyone anything about their alopecia, or other things, by the way, that they were terrified to tell people. And now, 5 years later, I have this incredible community of people that are honest and upfront and in love with who they are, having alopecia. Now, that was a devastating event. If I'd chosen to let it be devastating, none of that would have happened. And here's the truth. 5 years ago, when this devastating thing happened, I allowed for about a year for it to be devastating, and I was embarrassed and I was nervous, and anytime I had to deal with some time that someone might be able to see my hair or lack of, I was so nervous and so worried because this was a devastating thing. Now, I can just do this, and to be honest, I like myself more like this. Yeah, it looks kind of funny and speckly, but this is me. And you know what's really cool is I've learned by embracing a devastating event that someone with alopecia is kick-ass, because they're willing to be so raw and so honest. And I can be a brunette, I can be a redhead, I can be a blonde, I can be bald. Isn't that cool? But I never would have got to this point where I'd happily whip my hair off in front of anyone if I hadn't chosen to see it as positive. So I guess that whole rambly, long story, here's, I guess, the 3 pointers that are most important. First of all, when something devastating happens to you, take the chance to look within you and see what it's trying to teach you about yourself. What can you learn about yourself? How can you heal yourself? Give yourself the chance to love yourself in a devastating event. 2, have faith that it's happening for a certain reason. Trust that the pain is worth it for something. I always say, I love it when something's so bad because I know the so good is going to be awesome. It's like the boulder. What's going to come as a result of the bad is going to be so amazing. The worse it is, the better. And thirdly, be honest about it. Speak out, talk, share about this devastating event. You never know who's out there that's going through that devastating thing too. And through that, you could find friends and companions and inspire someone else, because you're not choosing to see their devastating thing as devastating. I guess what I should leave you with is the greatest thing that I've learned in my life, which means, you know, where this machine comes from. And if this machine had a name or maybe like a tagline, it would be this: we're not defined by the events that happen to us in life, but we are defined by how we deal with them. So I encourage you to not look at your events as devastating, but ask yourself, how can I turn this devastating event into incredible journey, incredible growth, and find happiness in this devastating event? Rachel, I hope that answered your question. And I hope that someone out there watches this and finds courage to see their devastating event as a wonderful, positive, big boulder that they're going to jump over and find a beautiful view at the top of the mountain. Thanks so much, Rachel. Now, one of the other viewers has asked me to do a Q&A session. I would love to do a Q&A session, so please put your questions below this video, or you can send questions to the email that I'm going to post on this video. Maybe I'll post it like around my face here. You can send questions to there, or just post them below on the video. And I promise next time we'll do a Q&A session for everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a beautiful week.